Good day, everyone. It's Jan, Caitlin, Adam. We're here. We are here for you. This is the Jan Arden Show and podcast. And I sound very controlled because I'm going into a new phase in my life. I'm going into a phase of the slow life. What's the hashtag on it, Caitlin? The slow down life.
It's the art of slow living. That's
the art of slow living. I knew it. Okay, well, that's why I wanted to start the show like this, very calm. The hashtag art of slow living is out there just trending like crazy. And guess what? People over the last 18 months have decided that they don't want to go back to their old life. And they really do aspire to slow down, that it's cool to do nothing.
Yeah. And it's way more relaxing. And I think you guys probably do either of you have friends where you almost feel as though they brag about how busy they are? You know, you don't see them forever. And then when you get together with them, they just rifle off all these things they're doing and how they have no time to live. And they make it sound like it's complaining, but it's also a bit of a humble brag. Like, I'm doing so much. I'm so busy. And I think it's because of this like warped hustle culture, girl boss, lean in version of success that we've all been sold, that really isn't based upon personal happiness or growth or reflection. It's just like go, go, go all the time and just work until you drop. And if you have time in between to go to the gym, society still tells you should stay thin. And if you should connect, you can connect with all your friends because you need a million friends. You have to be the perfect mom, perfect body, perfect everything. And I just think it has resulted in people being so unhappy that they're saying, no, I just want to learn the art of saying no now.
Well, it seems funny to me that is what people aspire to, essentially. So all the running around and the socializing and trying to get up another rung in the ladder and keeping busy and taking one extra work, and I'm going to stay a few hours extra, tonight because, the kids need this for school and I want to get myself that bag. But the end game is being able to put your feet up and relax and look at a fire and go rent a cabin somewhere. And, and that's, I guess, the irony is that in our pursuit of that slow, comfortable, introspective life that you certainly share with, I'm not saying you're sitting alone on a log at a forest. You are,
although that sounds good.
You are enjoying friends. You are having a great card game, and you are, doing all those things, but it's not at the risk of, my God, the stress involved in how we live our lives. I saw a lineup yesterday at Costco for gasoline here. And I'm trying to be really fair in my mind. I feel very grateful to have a job and to have a few bucks in my pocket. But the lineup was, I'm going to say, a quarter of a mile long.
Oh, no, thank you.
Like easily it was 1,500. It could have even been longer. It was like 1,000 yards, but gas was 7 or 8 cents cheaper a liter, and people were waiting in a line for 2 hours. And I just thought, gosh, I don't know in my mind's eye if saving that $4 or $5 is worth that. And that's what I mean by, we seem to be expediting in our entire lives, and
like the value on your time, really.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Caitlin.
I think that's a really good point, because I know I have friends who say they have they've done this. They have a good salary, a great salary by any standard, but then they realized how much they were working. And so they broke down what they actually are making hourly, and they went, oh my God, it's not that good. Sure, annually it looks great on paper, but then you pay taxes, and then you realize what you're making per hour. And they just started saying, I feel as though I need to rework my life. And I saw he's been a guest on our show before, the lovely and honestly very wise Jonathan Torrens. I mean, if you have a chance to follow him on Twitter, please do, because I just find so many of his posts come at the exact time I needed to hear them. But a while back, he posted, busy is good, balance is better. And I just thought that is so bang on, because busy is fun and it can be distracting and make you forget about maybe all the things you don't want to think about by running around like a chicken with no head from party to work to bed for 2 seconds. But that balance you want in your life, that's kind of where people want to be. So do you need as much as you think you need to get by?
I'll be the devil's advocate here, guys. It's just, what about those people that say to us, that's fine for you, You guys have jobs. You guys are comfortable. You have homes. What about us guys that, food insecurities, all we can do is hustle. All we can do is go from one paycheck to the next paycheck, worry about our gas bill, worry about, the insurance payment, worry about doctor's appointments for the kids, worrying about, all those things. Is it possible for every single human being on the planet to aspire to an easy life? I don't know. I like I said, I'm just looking at the other side of this going, is that a really elitist, privileged way of thinking? That's everyone's hashtagging it, but is it attainable? Or, my dad said, you just work until you drop. That's life. You just got to get used to it.
I think it's the middle ground, because the two extremes don't, it's that balance, is that return to balance. It's that the two extremes don't mean happiness for anyone, really. Like working until you drop doesn't really make people happy. And, sitting around and not doing much and being like a lady of leisure. I mean, I think we've all seen examples in the media of people who have it all financially and are pretty miserable. So it's just one of those things where I feel like it's about finding that balance and not burning yourself out, whatever that may look like. And it's interesting because the story came up the same week, or I guess it was last week, that the Ontario Liberal Party threw out the possibility of a pilot project of a 4-day work week. And the reason why they said that they wanted to consider doing this was because of reports of other countries trying this out. Again, pilot projects. So countries like Japan and New Zealand, and I believe Switzerland, maybe it was Sweden, that they had some pretty solid success with doing this, in that they didn't notice an overall negative impact to productivity. But what they did see in the places that adopted this, the workplaces that adopted this, was less employee burnout and better employee retention. And right now we're experiencing what's being referred to as, the great walkout or the great resignation. Staffing is a huge issue. People are leaving their jobs in droves and trying to recreate a life for themselves, whatever that may look like, because they realized during the pandemic they were so unhappy. And so now it's an interesting time for people to say, maybe we can rework a little bit of this so that the people who are, like you outlined, Jan, forcing them, being forced into long hours in precarious work that maybe doesn't have great benefits, and taking care of your family, not just your children, but maybe you live in a multi-generational household. Could we benefit from adopting something like a 4-day work week? I
absolutely think so.
Yeah.
I agree with you 100%. I would love to see that go across the country. I know that my friend in the UK does a similar thing, that his boss adopted that very thing. He does 4 days a week. They're a little longer days. So would that sort of kind of impose on people, instead of your 8 hours, your 9 to 5, you're going to be doing 10 or 12. Is that kind of what they're looking at? And I think people would be willing to do that.
I think so. And I think that we've learned we can rework our idea of the workday care of COVID, because working from home, we didn't think that any of these industries would be able to work from home. And now many people very efficiently can, and companies can save money on massive downtown urban center office rent.
Adam's pointing at his chest.
Okay, totally. Adam, go ahead. You're a great example. You can speak to this.
Well, working from home, I mean, first of all, I don't think that there's 9 to 5 anymore. I don't work a 9 to 5 day.
Yeah, you're right.
I take a break. I don't mind working in the evening because I have to do a grocery run in the middle of the day, which I could never do before. I love going grocery shopping on a Wednesday afternoon. The store is quiet. I can get in and out. I can buy something fresh for dinner that night that I wouldn't normally have had time to do.
Yep.
And I don't mind making my day flexible. So the thought again of 9 to 5, not anymore. And I'll never do that again.
Yeah. And it's also that a lot of places, and I think you realize too, I mean, yes, technically everyone was working 9 to 5 days a week. But if you had your email on your phone, I'm working 7 days a week and totally. I'm never stopping. Yeah. And I'm not working 9 to 5. I am always working. I'm speaking for myself, but I work all the time. And so it became this thing where everyone's like, oh, I don't know if a 4-day work week's going to work. I'm like, well, it doesn't really exist now, this 5-day work week. It has spread out into the rest of our lives for some of us. So I do think that
and our bosses expect that.
Yeah. And they do. But the thing is,
we're getting emails on Sundays. We're getting, I don't know about you guys. I mean, I'm in the arts, but I have an office in Vancouver. Mm-hmm. People that work there, and I get emails on the weekends all the time asking me
Yes.
questions, or
Yes.
what about this? Are you and Chris going to travel? Are you going to fly? Are you renting the van? And they're like, so, and it's always prefaced by, sorry to do this to you on the weekend, but we need this.
I'm gonna do this
and I'll
on the
throw
weekend.
this, I'll throw this out there to you guys. I have friends that are absolutely those types of people that go, I don't know who I am outside of work. I don't know what I like. My job is my life. So then we have that sort of aspect of our